Hi friends, thank you for joining me for this practice today. We're going to start out on our backs. So go ahead and lie down, bend your knees with your feet flat on the floor. Have the palms be open to the sky. Bring your knees together. Let your feet be mat width apart. And then just initially begin to notice any sensations in your body, any areas of tightness, areas of spaciousness. Just notice your body all the way from your toes through the knees and hips, belly, chest, shoulders, back of the neck. And then notice your breath. Notice your natural rhythm of inhaling, a natural rhythm of exhaling. Notice if your breath is shallow or deep, no judgment, just begin to observe your breath. And then from that place of awareness, from the place of observation, then begin to maybe soften the areas of tension, soften your breath, soften your belly, and then deepen your breath. Begin to notice your inhalation through the nostrils all the way to the belly. Feel the belly expand with each inhale. And as you exhale, feel the navel sink to the spine and feel and sense the breath flowing back up and out the nostrils. And do this a few more times on your own, inhaling through the nostrils, feel the belly expand, and exhaling, feel the belly soften, the navel softening towards the spine, and exhale all the air out. One more time with your own breath. Nice deep inhalations, nice long exhalations. And then slowly begin to bring your feet in. Maybe your fingertips can graze your heels. Have your knees and feet be parallel to each other. Turn the palms down. And then as you inhale, begin to lift the hips straight up to the sky as you take your arms overhead so that the back of your hands can rest on the floor above your head. And as you exhale, begin to slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time, bringing your arms down next to you. And see if you can coordinate this movement. So each inhalation, at the top of your inhalation, your hips are lifted, the back of your hands are resting on the floor above your head. And at the bottom of your exhalation, the hips are down on the floor and the arms are resting next to your hips. And can you make this so that the arms and the hips and the breath all move at the same time? Inhaling, lift the hips up, the arms go overhead. Exhaling, lower the hips down, the arms can come down next to you. Inhaling, press down firmly to the bottom of your feet, lifting the hips up, the arms go overhead. Feel a nice stretch in the front side body. Exhaling, lower the hips down, lower the arms down. You feel a nice release in the low back and the hips. Inhaling, lifting the hips up, lifting the arms up. And then this time pause there. Keep the hips up there, but lower the arms next to you. Turn the palms open towards the sky. Maybe tuck one shoulder under, tuck the other shoulder under, and really press down firmly through the bottom of your feet to lift the hips up. This is not necessarily to your deepest back bend, but as you exhale, begin to lower down one vertebrae at a time. And then just pause for a moment and windshield wiper your knees side to side, and then draw your knees to your chest and rock a little side to side on your back. And then roll over to one side, and we're just going to come up on tabletop pose. So come up on all fours, please. And right away, stack your joints. So your knees are directly below your hips, the hands are directly below, the wrists are directly below the elbows and the shoulders. And then with your inhalation, begin to lift the chest to the front. And as you exhale, pull the belly in so you can tuck your tailbone and tuck the chin. And do this a few times, nice and slow with your breath. Inhaling, the chest opens. Exhaling, pull the belly in, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. And one more time, inhaling, the chest opens to the front, send the tailbone up to the sky. And as you exhale, pull the belly in and tuck the tailbone and tuck the chin. And then next time, as you inhale, lift the chest up. As you exhale, really round the back. This time, can you round the low back even? So then coming into a neutral spine, raising the right arm next to your reach, keeping the gaze to your left fingertips. Thread the right arm under your body and bring the right ear, right jaw down to the floor. And really soften the jaw, allow the jaw to melt down towards the floor. And then notice if you're leaning onto one side, usually we lean over to the left a little bit. Can you see that the weight is equally distributed between the legs? So both legs are nice and strong, pressing down. And just soften through the back, feel a nice twist in the thoracic spine, your upper back. With a nice deep inhalation and exhalation. And your inhale is going to bring you back to the center. Coming back to tabletop pose. Inhaling, lifting the left arm up. Keep your gaze to your right fingertips. And then thread the left arm underneath the right, bringing your left shoulder, your left ear and jaws down onto the floor. And then again, notice if you're leaning one way or another, can you keep the weight equally distributed between the knees? So both legs are pressing down the same way. So you have a beautiful twist in the upper back, in the thoracic spine, between the shoulder blades. Allow the jaw to melt towards the floor, the left jaw softening, the left ear softening towards the floor. And then with your next inhalation, begin to gently come out of the pose to tabletop pose once again. And then slowly begin to walk your hands forward so you can come down on your elbows. And then walk your feet back so you can come to the top of plank pose, forearm plank pose. Now really energize your legs. The key is really energizing your legs as you're pulling the belly in. Can you find an imaginary wall behind your heels? Press your heels onto that imaginary wall. And then slowly begin to lift your hips up into dolphin pose, walking your feet in a little bit more. This is just like the downward facing dog, except that you are on your forearms. And then once again, going back into the plank pose, forearm plank. So pull the belly in, energize the leg. Notice that sometimes we have a tendency to lift the hips up in this. Can you see that you're a complete plank all the way from your back? If I were to drop some water on your upper back, it would slide all the way down to your heels. Pull the belly in, engage the legs, press your heels onto that imaginary wall, press your forearms firmly onto the floor, and then exhale, dolphin pose. Begin to walk your feet a little bit closer to your elbows, and this time maybe you can even bring the shoulders right above the elbows. So you're really leaning forward onto the elbows. And soften the shoulders away from each other, soften the neck. And then maybe bring your feet together and raise your right leg behind you. And lower the right leg down, and then the left leg behind you. And lower the left leg down, nice and slow. One more inhalation and exhalation, and then slowly begin to walk your feet back into top of the plank pose, and then bring your hips all the way down to Sphinx pose. And as you come into Sphinx pose, just check in to make sure that the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Press down firmly through the hips and the top of your feet, pressing down onto the floor. And then slowly begin to bring your forehead down to the floor. Bring your arms next to your palms down. So your arms are in airplane pose. Your legs are together, and imagine that you bring in your ankles together. And then with your inhalation, begin to lift the chest up. And exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lifting the chest up into cobra. And then begin to lift the right leg up behind you. Now that right hip is going to want to come up. Can you lower the right hip down and lift through the inseam, the inner thigh of that leg? Lift up a little bit higher. Think about lengthening the spine, so lifting both direction. Exhale, lower. Inhaling, lifting the chest up as the left leg comes up. Again, notice if that left hip is lifting up. Can you lower the left hip down as the inner thigh of the left leg comes up? And then exhale, lower everything down. And we're going to continue staying with the same pose. Inhaling, lifting the chest up, left leg goes up, and then maybe the right arm comes and reaches in front of you. Exhale, lower everything down. Inhaling, lifting the chest up, left leg comes up, and the right arm circles all the way up to the front, reaching ahead. And exhale, lower down, lower everything down at the same time. And then inhaling. We're going to do this one more time. You can, if bringing your arms overhead is too much, you can always use cactus arms. So lifting the left leg up, right arm up, chest up, exhale, lower, lifting the right leg up, left arm up, and chest up, and exhale, lower. And this time we're going to bring everything up at the same time. Beautiful. So next time, as you're ready, you're going to bring in, as you're ready, inhaling, lift the chest up, lift the legs up together, lift the arms up behind you into Shavasana, and then either cactus arms or reach the arms in front of you. And think about lengthening yourself. So your toes are moving away from your hips as the fingertips are moving away from the waist. Inhale, and then exhale, bring your one side of your face down and rest for a moment. And then switch sides, so bring your right ear down and rest for a moment. And then bringing your forehead down onto the floor, put your hands right next to your rib cage, tuck your toes under, and either press yourself up into the top of the push-up, or you can come up on tabletop pose and lift back up into downward facing dog. When you're down dog, float the right leg up behind you. Inhale, and exhale, draw the right knee towards your chest and lightly step that right foot in between the hands. Spin the back foot flat, 45-degree angle, and then come all the way up into triangle pose. So your right leg, right toes, right knee are pointing straight ahead. Turn the right palm up and reach back behind you. Exalt your triangle and then pour yourself into a triangle pose. Now your hand can rest on your shin or your thigh or even behind the right foot. But just make sure that both sides, side bodies are nice and long. You don't want to curve, you don't want to bow the side body. Just keep both sides bodies nice and long. And the outside edge of your back foot, the left foot, is really pressing down through the floor. Resting your right hand on your shin, begin to reach your left arm straight up to the sky, and then maybe even reach the fingertips over your head. Turn the palm down, reaching the fingertips above your head, energizing both legs And inhale, lifting the left arm all the way up to the sky. Press firmly to the base of the right toe, and then lift yourself all the way up into warrior two pose. Inhaling, reach back behind you, exalt your warrior, and exhaling, circle your arms all the way down to the earth. Take your right leg back behind you, top of the push-up. You can either come down on your knees, chest and chin, or you can come down to the bottom of the push-up and then lift up into cobra or upward facing dog, and then press back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhaling, float the left leg up behind you. Exhaling, draw the left knee in between, draw the left knee towards your chest and step your left foot in between your hands. Inhaling, coming all the way up into triangle pose. So again, spin that back foot flat, 45-degree angle. Your left knee is aligned with left toes, ahead, facing ahead. Inhaling, turn the left palm up and reach back behind you. Stretch open that entire left side. Now maintain that length that you've created on that left side, and then pour yourself into triangle pose. Your left hand can rest on the shin or the thigh or even behind the left foot. But wherever you choose to do, see that you're not leaning forward or back, that really both sides are nice and long, and without curving or bowing either side. And then reach the right arm straight up to the sky. Soften the shoulders. So generally that left shoulder, the bottom shoulder, wants to come forward. Can you rotate the left shoulder back behind you, reaching the right fingertips straight up to the sky, pressing firmly to the outside edge of the back foot, maybe turning the palm down and reaching the fingertips over your head. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling and exhaling, rotating the left ribcage up to the sky, and with your inhalation, bring the right arm straight up to the sky, and as if someone is lifting your fingertips all the way up, bring your torso all the way back up to the center and to warrior two pose. Inhale, reaching back behind you, exalt your warrior. Exhaling, circle your arms all the way down to the earth. Take your left leg back behind you, top of the push-up, and then choose again. Either come down to bottom of the push-up, or you can always bring your knees down, your chest down, your chin down, and lift up into cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhaling, float the right leg up behind you. Exhale, draw the knee to your chest and step your right foot in between your hands. And then just come on up. So we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Turn your heels out, your toes in towards each other. Put your hands on your hips. Inhaling, lift the chest up, shoulders down your back. And then exhaling, fold forward from your hips all the way down to towards the earth. Releasing your hands down, let the head go. Really soften the head and shoulders. I'll do this from the side view so you can see. Most of us tend to lean back. Can you lean a little bit more forward and energize your legs so you're lifting through the inseam of the body, the legs. So the inner arches are lifting up, and then begin to walk your fingertips in between your legs, reaching back behind you. Or you can also grab the outside edges of your feet or your heels. Let the elbows go out to the side. Inhale, come halfway up, and exhaling, fold. And really create space in between the neck and the shoulders. So let the head go, the back of the neck is long, shoulders drawing up your back. Inhaling and exhaling, feel a nice elongation of your lower back. And just imagine all the tension, any unnecessary thoughts, just pouring out of your head, letting it all go. Whatever is not serving you, let it go. With your inhalation, bring your hands to your hips and then come all the way up to standing pose. Heel toe your feet together. And then we're going to come back onto our mat. So come into a seat. And this next one depends on how open your hips are. You can either cross your legs in front of each other, so have your left shin be in front of the right shin, or you can take the left shin and put it directly on top of the right shin. So this is called Agni Stambhasana, or logs of fire. Have both feet be nice and flexed. And then as you inhale, lift the chest up, and exhale, begin to fold forward and make it so that your chest is reaching forward. Again, you can do the same pose with the legs crossed in front of each other. So you don't have to go shin on shin. Whichever you choose to do, we're going to stay there for a few moments. It's a really great opening for the hips. Soften in the shoulders down, let the arms or the forehead, whatever you can, rest on the floor or towards the floor. Keep both feet flexed so that you're protecting the knees. And then just feel a sense of relaxation. Notice our tendency is to clench in the hips. See if you can just release it. And then as you inhale, press yourself all the way up. Uncross your legs and cross them the other way. So whichever leg you had in front or on top, switch it. So the opposite leg is on top now or in front. Flex both feet, and then as you inhale, lift the chest up, and with your exhalation, fold forward. And see if you can really let the hips soften towards the earth. The hips are going to want to come forward with you. So just, if you need to stay up, that's perfectly fine. Sit up tall in this pose. Let the hips soften towards the earth. If you're coming forward, maybe you can rest on your forearms, let the head go, soften the shoulders and the jaws. And then inhaling, coming back up to the center. And we are going to come back on our back once again. So as you lie down, bend your knees, putting your feet flat on the floor, just like we did at the beginning of the class. And then draw your knees to your chest. Now, for this next pose, you can use a block if you like to. If you like to do a supported shoulder stand, you can slide the block underneath your sacrum. Make sure that the block is nice and secure as you lift your legs up. You want to stay pretty secure on the block. You don't have to use the block. You can, if you don't have a block or you would like to just do a shoulder stand without the block, go ahead and lift the legs overhead first into plow pose, putting your hands on your kidneys, and then slowly begin to raise one leg straight up to the sky, and then the other leg straight up to the sky. So this is a variation of shoulder stand that is really safer and accessible for most of us to be able to do, although the supported shoulder stand is a beautiful variation too. So if you do have a block, I highly recommend that you use the block. But in this pose, please don't turn your head, just have the gaze on your knees or your toes or even your belly button. And then we're going to stay here for a couple minutes just to allow the benefits of this pose. It's a really calming pose. It allows all the blood to be recirculated back towards the heart from your toes. And it's generally very anxiety relieving. And then you can play with that a little bit, so spread your legs all the way out to the side, and then maybe you want to come into eagle legs, and in this pose bringing the right knee and crossing it over the left knee, and then cross it twice if you want to. These are just different variations to play with. You can just stay in a simple shoulder stand with the legs straight up. If you did the eagle leg on one side, go ahead and switch it to the other side, but really maintain your breath. Keep inhaling and exhaling. It's generally a little bit difficult to breathe in this pose, so make sure that you're maintaining a nice breath. And then as you're ready, begin to slowly come back. If you're doing any variation on your legs, just go ahead and go straight up to the sky once again, and then back into plow. So if you're in supported shoulder stand, just stay there for a moment. If you're not in supported shoulder stand, go ahead and go to plow first, and then maybe you want to come into Padasana, bringing your bringing your knees towards your ears and squeezing your ears in between the knees. So bend your knees and allow the knees to come down towards the ears, and you can squeeze the ears in between the knees, and then slowly begin to come back all the way down. And if you're in supported shoulder stand, as you inhale, lift the hips up, slowly begin to slide that block away, and then slowly lower the hips all the way down to the earth. And then lifting the hips up, put your hands palms down underneath your hips, so you're squeezing the hands underneath the hips on the floor. Extend the legs flat. Press down on your forearms so that the chest lifts up toward the sky, and you can lightly touch the top of your head onto the floor. This is called the fish pose. And then as you inhale deeply through the nose, exhale out through an open mouth. Maybe even stick your tongue out. Oh, Kuchulu loves this pose. Every time I do this, it's like a call for Kuchulu. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through an open mouth. Stick your tongue out, lion's breath. And one more time, inhaling and exhaling out through an open mouth. And then release your hands. And we're going to come into our final pose, Shavasana. So let your legs open up to the side. Toes are soft, falling away from each other. The back of the knees are soft and relaxed. The hips are relaxed. The belly is soft. You no longer need to control your breath. Let the palms be open, shoulders are smooth, throat is soft, cheeks are soft, eyes sinking into the sockets, tongue is heavy. And just let yourself let go. Feel the ground coming up and supporting you. Feel how blessed you are in this very moment. You are completely loved and supported. Give yourself this pleasure of living in bliss in this moment. Stay here for as long as you like to. But if you're ready to come out of the pose, come out of Shavasana and return to your day, begin to deepen your breath. Feel the sensation in the palms of your hand and bottom of your feet. And then draw your knees to your chest and rock a little side to side. And then just notice which nostril you're breathing in through easier. Just roll over to that side and rest your head on your bicep. And with the strength in your top arm, press yourself onto a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to your heart center. Just pause for a moment and give yourself appreciation and gratitude for making it on your mat today. And let's all send a prayer to all living beings. May all living beings be happy. May all living beings be healthy. May all living beings be safe. May all living beings thrive and flourish. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.